We welcome you back to NAIA.org. Second round action of the 2012 Men's Division II National Basketball Tournament from College of the Ozarks. This game featuring the number 15 seed Warner University Royals out of Lake Wales, Florida, and the number 2 seed Oregon Tech Hustlin' Owls from Klamath Falls, Oregon. Warner University 24-10, Oregon Tech 30-4. Warner defeating Indiana East yesterday 84-68 to advance to the second round. Oregon Tech a winner yesterday over Lourdes, Ohio, 58-49. Oregon Tech already out on the floor in the navy jerseys with the Vegas gold trim and numerals. The home team on the scoreboard will be the Warner University Royals, and they will be dressed in the white jerseys with the blue and gold trim and blue numerals. Dave, big challenge here for Warner as they take on number 2 seed Oregon Tech, and of course their legendary head coach Danny Miles in his 41st season, now 61 wins away from 1,000 for his career, 939 and 378.
And really what makes that so amazing, that number of victories, yes, but to me the thing that makes it just as amazing, 41 years at the same school at this level. Danny Miles had numerous chances to go on to different levels, but he's decided to stay where he's at, and he's been very, very successful.
Their third straight year to win 30 or more games. The Royals control the opening tap, shooting at basket left, dressed in the white jerseys. Malcolm Campbell, lob backdoor to the baseline, backing in Mark St. Fort. And a pass intended for Malcolm Campbell, knocked out of bounds.
Both teams coming in averaging right at 84 points a game, and the other day Oregon Tech snuck by, granted 58-49, but only scored 58 points. That was their season low scoring for them.
Just underway, no score. Three-point try is an air ball by David Westbury, out of bounds to the Hustlin' Owls. Malcolm Campbell, keep your eye on him, 4 in the white. A huge game in the opening round. 12 of 16 from the field, 5 for 9 from the free throw line. Scored 29 points, also had 11 rebounds and 2 block shots. Warner shot 53% from the game, including a remarkable 67% in the second half. Out of the right baseline, Riddle. The three-point circles around and out, and the rebound to David Westbury.
And another thing about Warner the other day is they out-rebounded their opponents 46-30, so they love to go to the board and get the ball off the basket, off the miss.
It's a big number. Ian Wilhelm, the 6'3 junior from Orlando, hits the jumper to put the Royals up 2-0. We've played just over a minute. Oregon Tech down low, faking the three. It's Zerbach. They dish it inside to Riddle. Nice give to Gamblin for the bucket.
Give and go. Everybody cutting to the basket. Everybody looking to see who's down there. And this time it's Gamblin, and Gamblin able to get the pass and then the easy basket in underneath.
Tied at 2. We played 90 seconds. Man-to-man defense by the Hustlin' Owls. Wilhelm called for the travel.
Trying to come to a jump stop, but was unable to get both feet to come down at the same time, and kind of a pitter-patter type situation, and that was correctly called turnover.
Told you Warner shot 53% from the field in their opening round win. They were 14 for 23 from the foul line, just 61%. From three-point range, only 4 out of 19, 21%. Wild shot won't go for the Hustlin' Owls. Warner quickly at the other end. David Westbury at the point. Wilhelm trying to feed Campbell down low. It's out of bounds, and wait a minute, Kyle Fields will confer with Lloyd Rice. It will be possession Warner. No argument from Coach Danny Miles. Oregon Tech in their win over Lourdes, 58-49. The Hustlin' Owls shot just 42% from the field. Only went to the free throw line 9 times, made 5 for 9 for 56%, and were a decent 7 for 21 from three-point range for 33%. 2-2 tie. We've played 2 minutes. Westbury back out with the dribble. He's guarded by Alex Zerbach. On the right side, Jordan Kiley on defense. Here's the Victor, stripped away by the Hustlin' Owls. Down court to Bobby Hunter. Layup good, and he's fouled.
Bobby Hunter so quick, and then plus he does such a good job of maintaining his composure, and that time he got fouled on his way up. Smallest guy on the floor, but still having the strength to maintain, not only maintain control of the basketball but have a chance to shoot the shot.
Foul on Ian Wilhelm, his first. Bobby Hunter at the free throw line, 73% on the season. And free throw up and in.
And Bobby Hunter called possibly the best player to ever come to Oregon Tech, so that says a lot. Just a freshman is Bobby Hunter out of Reno, Nevada.
Highly decorated high school athlete, the co-player of the year in Nevada high school basketball. His team, the Bishop Manogue Miners, took third place in their state tournament. Here's a turnover by Warner, gives it back to the Owls. Oregon Tech has qualified for the national tournament every year except 1999 and 2002, that string running from 1997 through this year. Here's a takeaway, bank shot missed, but tipped up and in by Ray Victor.
Ray Victor using his athleticism there as he knew he missed the shot and went right back up and tapped it in, got the offensive rebound and the 2 points.
So Ray Victor with the basket. He averages 7 per game, scored 12, including a 3-point bucket in their win over Indiana East yesterday. Here's Bobby Hunter. Fadeaway jumper over Campbell, won't go. Rebounded by Mark St. Fort. Both Malcolm Campbell and was named to the first team all-conference out of the Sun Conference. Ian Wilhelm was a second team all-conference player. Warner was the tournament runner-up, losing to Northwood 77-68. They got an at-large bid to the national tournament. Down low, here's Campbell. First time he's had a chance to work it inside. Triple team, stripped of the basketball. Bobby Hunter comes away with the ball. Hunter, bounce pass baseline to Kyle Gomez. Sets for the three, missed it.
Too much time out there almost. In fact, had time to look at the brand on the ball before he shot the ball. And really, sometimes you just have too much time before you shoot the ball being that open.
5-4 lead for Oregon Tech. Warner with the ball. Campbell again drawing a double team, and it's taken away by Kyle Gomez. Down court to Hunter for the layup.
Bobby Hunter's going to run the floor, and if it's a broken floor situation, you can bet Bobby Hunter will be down there waiting for a pass at the other end.
Timeout on the floor. Deontay Moore, 6'4 freshman from Orlando, checking in. Brian De Leon, a 6'9 senior from Puerto Rico, who played at Odessa Junior College, transferred to Warner, also in. So a 7-4 lead for Oregon Tech, 15:44 to go in the first half. Oregon Tech, after their first round win, now 14-0 in their first round games. Warner is 4-0 in their first round games. They were here for the first time in 1998, made it to the second round before being eliminated. In 2002, won their first 2 games before losing in the quarters. And in 2003, made it all the way to the semis before they were defeated. So they get improvement every year, their 4th appearance in the national tournament. For Oregon Tech, a 2-time national champion, 2004 and 2008, a national runner-up in 1998. They reached the semifinals in 2005. They've won 29 games in the national tournament while losing just 11. Member of the Cascade Collegiate Conference, they won their conference tournament by beating number 2 seed Northwest 77-71. Another Warner turnover on a high pass gives it back to the Hustlin' Owls.
Warner trying to go with the lob that time and just overthrowing his intended receiver, in fact, as that was a long pass about half court down to the basket, but just too long and goes out of bounds.
Oregon Tech 3-point lead in the ball. We've played 4.5 minutes. Kyle Gomez, first team all-conference, also throws the javelin on the track team. Right side, Gomez. Back out on top, this is Bryant Setman, who just checked in. And speaking of track, we told you in our first broadcast, the 2011 NAIA decathlon champion. Here's a runner good for Kyle Gomez.
Kyle Gomez attacked the basket that time and got all the way down to about an 8-footer and was able to put it in at the 45-degree angle.
5-point lead for the Owls. 3 ball by Deontay Moore, too strong. Out of bounds to Oregon Tech.
Oregon Tech already playing much better than they did the first round. First round kind of struggled, but that happens a lot of times in a lot of tournaments. First round, maybe the best team might not play the best, but by the second round, everybody kind of settles down.
Ronnie Watson, Kyle Smith, Lloyd Rice are 3 officials. Here's Hunter down the lane, looking for contact, didn't get it. Ball deflected out, saved, look out. Gomez into the scorer's table. At the other end, as the ball recovered by Ian Wilhelm, he is fouled while going in for the shot.
And I'm telling you, it's dangerous to be a redcoat on this on these sidelines. Scott and I have been tumbled into 3 or 4 times already, and I mean that time the redcoat over there at the far side was able to just catch a player and then push him back out there onto the floor.
Foul on David Clark, his first. To the free throw line goes Ian Wilhelm, an 82% foul shooter, missing the first. In for Oregon Tech, Jordan Kiley, a 6'2 junior from Lakeview, Oregon, a civil engineering major. Second free throw, no good. Rebound pulled down underneath by Bryant Sentman.
2 in a row. I'm sure it's been a long time since Wilhelm missed 2 free throws in a row, but he did just then.
Oregon Tech, 5-point lead in the ball, 14-15 to go in the first half. Good defense by Moore on Hunter. Hunter got around him, puts it off the glass with the left hand and in.
Hunter not afraid to go inside, and there again, whenever you got the quickness that Bobby Hunter does, why not go in there and force some action? 8 points already for Bobby.
7-point lead for Oregon Tech. Whistle and a travel on the baseline. Brian DeLeon back in. And we see Brandon Poore, a 6'1 freshman out of Rockledge, Florida, in for the Royals. Six unanswered by Oregon Tech. They lead by 7. And we've played about 6.5 minutes. Low post Josh Johnson. Saw him in the opening round. Big 6'7 freshman out of Perth, Australia. He's got an older brother that's 7 feet tall and plays professionally in Australia. Down the lane, little scoop shot up and in for Bobby Hunter.
Bobby Hunter's almost playing stop me if you can. Another layup. Listed at 6 foot is Bobby Hunter, but I'd be surprised if he's 5'10 or 5'9.
Short jumper missed by K.O. Taylor, who checked in. Now Bobby Hunter is on a roll. Conference Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year in the Cascade Collegiate Conference. Here's a whistle. Foul called by Ronnie Watson. Look at this. 5 new players getting set to check in for Coach Sean Hanrahan.
I believe the foul's going to go against Josh Johnson. We'll wait and still. No, they're going to say 3-4. Brian DeLeon will be whistled for his first foul. And fresh team out there for the Royals, not because that the other team needs a blow, it's because Coach Hanrahan didn't feel like they were playing very well.
Not happy. Bryce Kaczynski, 6'1 junior from Clearwater, Florida, now in. Here's a baseline drive by Gomez and a blocking foul against Warner.
Ray Victor picking up the foul, his first. 4th team foul. Everybody with 1 as far as foul trouble, no concern there.
Well, they still have yet to post the foul. On the right baseline, Gomez. He's pushed to the floor by David Westbury. On Westbury, his first.
5 different players with 1 foul each for the Royals. 1 foul been called on the hustling out.
David Clark hustling to get that basketball before it goes out of bounds. On the baseline, Sentman, skip pass right wing, Josh Johnson. Top of the arc, Gomez. Deep 3 by David Clark is good.
David Clark, I saw him yesterday hit 3 in a row from 3-point range to make a rally for the Hustling Owls, and today he hit one about 21 feet out on the left side.
Timeout on the floor, 12:28 to go in the first half. 9 unanswered, actually 11 unanswered now by Oregon Tech. At one time they led 5-4. It is now 16-4. Number 2 seed looking impressive here in the first 7.5 minutes.
Number 2 seed against the number 15 seed, and you know, seeding doesn't really matter whenever you get to come to this tournament if you look at the history of this tournament. But it's going to be one of those situations where the Warner University Royals are going to have to start playing a little bit better than what they have thus far. Thought Warner would be able to use their quickness and athletic ability to their advantage, but the Hustling Owls have been the one that's really used their quickness to enhance their scoring.
So, Dave, as far as Warner University goes, their fouls, Westbury 1, Wilhelm 1, De Leon 1.
And I've got Deontay Moore
Thank
with
you.
one.
That's
15.
one. All right. Well, a big lead for Oregon Tech. Warner having burned a couple of timeouts. Between the circles, Westbury, right wing Bryce Kaczynski, closely guarded by David Clark. Here's Campbell. He's got to get going offensively.
Well, he's way too far away from the basket to get anything going there.
Guarded by Gamble. Pass poked up in the air. Shot clock at 9. Kaczynski, three-point try. And rebound taken away by Campbell, then stripped of the basketball. It's picked up by Jason Gamblin.
Campbell did an excellent job of rebounding that time, but then he brought the ball down, and the Hustling Owls were waiting for that and just stripped him of the ball.
Kyle Gomez almost tripped over his own player. Gamblin trying to set the screen. Gomez got a little too close. Clark, Riddle. Baseline drive and a blocking foul on Mark St. Fort will be his first personal foul.
Well, the board says 5 team fouls. I've got them for 6, so I guess we'll go with the board there. But
well, St. Fort, Westbury, Moore, Wilhelm, De Leon.
And I've got, yes, 1, 2. I've got St. Fort, Westbury, Moore, Wilhelm, Victor, and De Leon.
Okay, we'll double check.
But we'll check.
With the basketball for Oregon Tech, David Clark, three-point try. Got that one as well. He is in the zone.
That's one of those way back type shots, but that's 2 in a row. Anything's within his range. Whenever he gets off the bus, he's ready to shoot the ball.
14 unanswered now for the Owls. David Clark, the 6'3 junior from Auckland, New Zealand, averaging 10 points, had 8 with a pair of threes yesterday. He already has 2 threes in the first 8+ minutes of this game. Ray Victor checks out. And in for Warner, David Westbury. Off the inbounds, here's Bryce Kaczynski nailing a 3 out of the left baseline. His 82nd 3 of the year. He had 11 points and 3 threes in their opening round victory. So that will stop the string of 14 unanswered.
Wilhelm and Kaczynski both have got 80-some threes on the season thus far for the Royals. They like to shoot that outside shot.
Here's a fadeaway jumper, no good for Clark. Rebounded by Kaczynski. Warner trying to run with success. Here's a three-point try up and in for Ian Wilhelm. Second team all-conference this year. Wilhelm averaging 15, now with 5.
We talked about the ability to make those, and Wilhelm showed us exactly why as he hits the first attempt that he's made from 3-point.
Takeaway by Mark St. Fort. We near the halfway point of the first half. Oregon Tech up 19-11. It was 19-4 before a couple of three-point baskets by the Royals. In the paint, Campbell. 10-foot shot will go. Is it
going to be on the floor is what the official is saying, is the foul prior to the shot.
No.
No?
I
thought he was
count the
pointing
basket.
to the floor.
One shot coming up.
I thought it was on the shot, but I just misinterpreted the hand signals over there to the table.
The second on Gamblin. Campbell at the line for 1. And some blood on somebody's jersey out there. Mark St. Fort will go to the bench. Winner of this game will play St. Francis, Indiana at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. St. Francis at it again with their single-digit wins. They knock off 10th seed Jamestown, North Dakota by 1 yesterday, 64-63. They beat 7th seed Bellevue, Nebraska by 3, 61-58. When they won the national championship 2 years ago, their margin of victories in their games 3, 8, 6, 4, and 1.
And I remember watching that team from 2 years ago and then commenting, they just find a way to win. They might not be the prettiest thing, it might not be the most cohesive unit out there, but yet they figure out a way to win the basketball games.
They are now 23-12 as they await the winner of this one between Warner and Oregon Tech. Campbell at the free throw line, just a 57% foul shooter, and he's not able to complete the three-point play. So it remains 19-12 Oregon Tech, exactly halfway through the first half. Bobby Hunter, Clark, right wing Scotty Riddle. Kyle Gomez, left wing David Clark, was a red shirt last year. Did not play inside the layup. Good for Scotty Riddle. We gave you his story the other day. He's married with 3 children, ages 8, 6, and 4. Played in the 1997-98 season for Clackamas Community College.
And I believe he's like an age of 32 or something like that, so good for him.
Shot missed, but inside put back up and in for Mark St. Fort. Got a football score, 21-14. Oregon Tech, the touchdown and extra point lead right now over Warner. Here's a whistle and a blocking foul. Ian Wilhelm with his second. At the scorer's table, Alex Zerbach, 6'5" junior from Covington, Washington, back in, replacing Kyle Gomez. Josh Johnson to trigger it in. Finds Bobby Hunter, closely guarded by David Westbury. Swinging on the right side to Scotty Riddle. He's guarded by Mark St. Fort. Man-to-man defense by Warner. They hail from Lake Wales, Florida. Riddle will hold it up. Still 13 seconds on the shot clock. Riddle with a left-handed dribble, drive, shot off the glass, good. Wow. Scotty Riddle with 4.
And the Hustling Owls for the first time showing their ability to run the half-court offense. Very patient, got the shot they wanted. Scotty Riddle just broke the defense down one-on-one and was able to go up and power the shot up and in.
23-14, the lead is 9 in the paint. St. Fort with the leaner is fouled.
Zerbach picking up the foul. It's going to be 2 shots. Stepping to the line will be St. Fort.
St. Fort, 67% foul shooter, averaging 10 points, but was held to just 2 in the win over Indiana East. And the Royals are now 0 for 4 from the free throw line after going 14 for 23 yesterday, just 61%. Wholesale subs, Brian De Leon back in for the Royals, along with Ray Victor. And Bryce Kaczynski back in. St. Fort with one more, gets the second. 23-15. Hustle Now's 8-point lead in possession of the ball with 8:24 to go in the first half. On the right side, Riddle loves to use that left hand, dumps it on the baseline to Zerbach. His dad played for Danny Manning and was a member of the 1979 tournament team. Left wing, Hunter, left baseline, Clark, another 3.
Clark just sitting out there ready to shoot the ball whenever he gets over there in the corner and gets open enough, and he's got a quick release also, does David Clark, giving him 9. Or get just to 2?
Well, they've got 9 on the board, but only 25 on the scoreboard. Shot up, no good. Rebound by Oregon Tech. Wanted to feed down low to Zerbach, who gets the basket and is fouled. They are doing everything right in the first half.
Well, like I say, I didn't get to see them play, they being the Hustling Owls, the first round, other than about 5 or 6 minutes. And as poorly as they played the first round, they're playing that well today because they're doing everything right.
Kaczynski with his first personal foul. Zerbach, a 60% free throw shooter at the line for 1. Owls went to the line just 9 times, made 5 for 9 in their win. Missed that free throw, but an offensive rebound by Bryant Sentman. Fresh 35 on the shot clock. 7.5 minutes to go before intermission. Owls up by a dozen, 27-15. Hunter. Pull-up jumper. Won't go. Offensive rebound, Sentman. Out on the wing to Johnson. Jordan Kiley yet to score. Not a big score, only a 2-point per game average. Bobby Hunter, still 24 seconds on the shot clock, so lots of time. Left wing, Sentman. Jumper over De Leon, missed. Rebound grab Johnson. And another fresh shot clock for the Owls. The leaner for Hunter and a foul.
And Hunter went in with the mindset that time that he's going to draw a foul. He knew he was going to get hit and hit hard, which he did. And rather than give up the easy shot, Bobby Hunter was fouled in there, have 2 shots for the Hustling Owls, who lead 27-15.
Well, that is the second on Ray Victor. Bobby Hunter at the line. First one good. He has 10. (28-15) Owls by 13. Second one in the air, also good. (14-point) lead for Oregon Tech. 29-15. 6:48 to go here in the first half. Kaczynski, pull-up jumper over Johnson, got it. (12-point) lead for the Owls, 29-17. They'll bring it across midcourt. Zerbach on the baseline, Taylor, cut off by Ray Taylor. A drive and a layup, good.
And Bobby Hunter,
I said Bobby Taylor, but it was Bobby Hunter with 13.
Bobby Hunter in the deep corner over there just throws it up to the free throw line and then cuts as quickly as he could and got the pass right back. Just a perfect give and go there by the Hustling Owls.
14 minutes in, Oregon Tech by 14, 31-17. Jumper in the paint, missed by Kiley. Looks like that missed by Westbury, rebounded by Oregon Tech. All the way to the basket, Hunter with the layup. This is a clinic right now by the number 2 seed.
And as
5:45 to go in the first half, 33-17 Owls.
And as far as Bobby Hunter's concerned, it's a track meet because he's just been streaking back and forth, making the layups, drawing the fouls, and distributing the ball. I mean, I can see why people are calling him maybe the best ever. It's hard to say as a freshman, but he's sure carrying the team today.
Subs for the Royals is again Sean Hanrahan trying to find the right combination of 5. The 15th seed coming in with a record of 24-10. Again, getting an at-large bid as a runner-up in the Sun Conference tournament. This is their 4th appearance in the national tournament. They've won 8 games while losing 3. We told you for Oregon Tech, they've won 29 games in the national tournament while losing just 11. They had a 63-game home court winning streak snapped on December 29th of 2011. They lost to Warner Pacific 85-79, and that was the first game on their new playing surface. They had a new floor installed at Danny Miles Court and lost their first game, and the fans were ready to put the old floor back in.
Let's tear the old floor. Let's tear the new one out and put the old one back in. Then one of their other few losses, only have 4 on the season. One of their other losses is a tournament team as they lost to Cal State Maritime back in November the 12th.
Saw them yesterday, the day before, the Keel Haulers.
Yes.
Here's a ball booted out of bounds. Going to give it to Oregon Tech. Looked like it was off of Ian Wilhelm.
And turnover created by Bobby Hunter. Got a hand on it, knocked it off the Royal, and back on the attack are the Hustling Owls.
Hiley to Hunter, bounce pass Zerbach. Over to Bobby Hunter. Campbell trying to guard him. 3-pointer over Campbell. That one off the rim. Offensive rebound. Gomez flips it inside. Shot missed by Sentman, and then a whistle and a foul.
Effort foul there. You don't really mind that particular thing. Josh Johnson was trying to keep that loose ball alive and corral the rebound, but was unable to do so. That'll be his first foul, and the Royals will have the ball full length of the floor.
David Clark back in for the Owls. 6'3" junior from New Zealand. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Owls by 16. Low post, or on the baseline rather, St. Fort. Guarded by Sentman. Bouncing it out to Bryce Kaczynski. Great defense by Hunter, nearly got the turnover, but as he made the steal, he bounced it out of bounds.
Jaczynski would just look like he was going to try to challenge Bobby Hunter, but Bobby Hunter stayed with him foot for foot and was able to get a hand on the ball and knock it out of bounds. Super quick is Bobby Hunter.
Low post Campbell, bounces it out to Westbury. Spin move in the lane. Off the glass with the right hand, no good, but a foul.
Going to go against the Hustling Owls. That's going to go against Kyle Gomez, his first.
6th team foul, but a shooting foul, sending David Westbury to the line. Just a 59% free throw shooter. Warner as a team hitting 65%. First one bounces out. Fred Korpening in for Oregon Tech. Member of a Brookings High School team that went 28-0 and state champions. Brookings Harbor, Oregon. Second free throw will go in for Westbury, his first point on an 8-point per game average. 15-point lead for the Owls, 4:20 to go in the first half. Kyle Gomez, left wing, David Clark, down in the low post, shot rejected by St. Fort. Blocks it out of bounds. It will still be Oregon Tech ball.
Got some active hands in there in the person of St. Fort and Campbell as far as the Royals are concerned, but that hadn't been able to deny the Hustling Owls the 33-18 lead here with 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Poor free throw shooting, not helping the Royals at all. They're just 2 for 7 here in the first half. Shot clock at 6, 3 ball by Clark, too strong. Nearly tipped in by Johnson, rebounded by the Royals. Quick outlet to Wilhelm, whistle, offensive foul. Wilhelm called for the charge, drawing the charge, getting back was Kyle Gomez. That is the third on Wilhelm.
Probably going to have to sit down the last 3 minutes and 49 seconds of this half, as the Owls might just continue to come back, and if they're not successful on the offensive end, their defensive position has just been tremendous and either frustrating the Royals on their shot or, in this particular case, drawing a player control foul.
St. Francis, Indiana gets the winner of this game tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock in our second quarterfinal game. Opening one will be 5th seed McPherson, Kansas versus number 4 seed Dort, Iowa. Tips at 1. Here's a ball knocked out of bounds at midcourt. It's still Hustling Owl ball. Bobby Hunter, short stay on the bench, back in at the scorer's table.
Well, when you got a player of that caliber, you know, it's other than getting him a blow or if he's hurt, I've got him out there on the floor just running things for me.
Conference Player of the Year, Newcomer Player of the Year, first team all-conference selection in the Cascade Collegiate Conference. Zerbach out to Gomez. Top of the arc. Zerbach again will leave it for Bobby Hunter. Shot clock at 5. Hunter down the lane, and that's going to be a goaltending on Mark St. Fort. Count the basket for Bobby Hunter.
And the unique thing is that Bobby Hunter was able to elude Malcolm Campbell, the 6'10 player, but 6'5 guy had to come over and goaltend because he was able to get it up and over Malcolm Campbell, the 6'10 player.
Skip pass on the left side to Westbury. 3 ball by Westbury, short. Campbell trying to get the rebound, but it's Alex Zerbach with the ball. Hunter. They dare Gomez to shoot. He drives inside the lane, challenging the bigs, and is called for traveling.
And looking at the stats on Bobby Hunter, you know, and by any means, he doesn't keep the ball unnecessarily, but by the same token, he has shot prior to coming into the tournament 443 times from the field, made 226 of those. The nearest one of another teammate is 160 of those. So he not only shoots the ball, but he makes a lot of shots.
That shot forced Rebounded by Campbell, and then a foul. Lots of Royals going after that loose ball.
Foul's going to go against the Owls. Going to go against Scotty Riddle.
Okay, his first.
His first. And Campbell will step to the line to shoot 1 and 1.
Malcolm, 29 points, 11 rebounds, went 12 for 16 from the field in their win over Indiana East. Gets the first free throw to go. He's got 3 points. Bryce Kaczynski checking out for Warner. Second free throw short. Rebound by Scotty Riddle. 16 points the lead with 2:10 to go in the first half. Kyle Gomez, left wing David Clark, who's hit 3 threes in the first half. Hunter back on top to Riddle. Clark comes off a screen. Hunter on the baseline, guarded by St. Fort. Feeds Riddle, puts it on the floor. Look out. Pass is touched out of bounds. His last touch by Warner. Good look there by official Ronnie Watson. Shot clock still at 7. There was no change of possession.
That time the Hustling Owls threw the ball to a spot. And
Gomez,
wow.
3 players hit the deck, all 3 still down. Brandon Poore, and they have stopped play even though Warner had the ball because the Warner player was the one most seriously hurt.
Gomez went in there for the Owls and on a drive and was rejected and thrown to the floor, but then 2 players from the Royals ran together and hit harder than what Gomez did.
I mean, you could hear the thud throughout this gymnasium.
And I'm not sure which player it is because Campbell is over there and St. Fort's over there.
Kaczynski checking in to replace the injured Warner player. We'll get a number here in just a moment.
Probably Ray Victor would be my guess is who's down over there, but he hit the floor hard after rejecting and throwing down Gomez to the floor, but didn't have much protection once he started falling to the floor and hit without anything cushioning his fall.
Minute 39 to go in the first half. Oregon Tech 39, Warner 19. Great to have you with us on NAIA.org. Day 3 of the national tournament. First round games on Wednesday and Thursday. Second round today. Quarterfinals on Saturday. They'll take Sunday off. The national semifinals Monday at 6 and 8. National championship game Tuesday, March 13th will tip at 6 o'clock here at the Keeter Athletic Complex, Al Waller Family Court on the campus of College of the Ozarks in Point Lookout, Missouri. The remaining second round games will get underway with the evening schedule at 4 o'clock. Northwestern of Iowa, the 9 seed, playing Northwest of Washington, the 8 seed at 4. And Dave, you're correct. That was Ray Victor, and he's literally being carried off by 2 of his teammates to the locker room, being helped off by K.O. Taylor and Brian DeLeon. We certainly hope Ray Victor is okay, but does not look good right now.
Taking him back to the training room here at College of the Ozarks, and hopefully he'll be able to play the second half. But he did hit the floor awfully hard. Does have a second half, a timeout or a halftime situation to help recover, so that'll be a little bit more time for him to be able to be ready for the second half. Hopefully we'll see him.
Well, Northwest and Northwestern at 4 at 5:45. Top seed Northwood out of West Palm Beach, Florida, is the drive inside. Good for Mark St. Fort. Northwood versus Marion, Indiana at 5:45, and then we'll tell you about the 2 late games as we go along. 35-21. Oregon Tech by 14, the lead in the ball. 1:15 to go in the first half. Here's Hunter. Has been magic here in the first half with 17 already. Whistle. Foul on Bryce Kaczynski, his second. At 7:30 tonight, 3 seed Davenport, Michigan against number 14 seed Indiana Southeast. And then at 9:15 this evening, Briarcliff from Iowa takes on the 6 seed Cardinal Stritch from Wisconsin. At the line for the Owls, David Clark, first one up and in. He's had a good first half with 10 points.
First point he scored that hadn't been behind the three-point line.
Very good point. Second free throw good. Good free throw shooter, 73%. Again, a 16-point lead, 37-21, 63 seconds to play before half. Big thanks to all of our camera crew, our production people who help provide the video and audio from the national tournament. There are many hours of work they put in and cannot do it without their support. We appreciate it. Kaczynski, low post, Campbell backs in, lost it, taken away by Scotty Riddle. Campbell is not having a very good day.
Kind of frustrated, in fact, after such a tremendous game he had the other night, but got to credit that with that good help defense that the Hustling Owls have employed against Campbell here in the first half.
6-second differential between game clock and shot clock. The shot clock now at 11.
Where's
David
Hunter
Clark
at?
on the drive. Whips the pass along the baseline. Three-point shot missed by Gomez. Going to have to hurry. Shot beats the first half buzzer. It's good by Bryce Kaczynski, who finishes the half with 8. So lots of baskets here at College of the Ozarks. We've reached halftime. It is Oregon Tech 37, Warner 24, as we will take a look at the first half numbers before we kick it to a break. For Oregon Tech, Bobby Hunter with 17 points. David Clark had 11, including 3 threes. 4 points for Scotty Riddle, 2 for Kyle Gomez, 2 for Alex Zerbach, and 2 points for Jason Gamblin. For Warner in the first half, they were led in scoring by Bryce Kaczynski with 8, including that three-pointer to beat the first half buzzer. Mark St. Fort with 5, Ian Wilhelm also with 5 points, 3 for Malcolm Campbell, 2 for Ray Victor, 1 point for David Westbury to round out the scoring. Unofficially, Warner 3 for 9 from the free throw line, just 33%. Oregon Tech, meanwhile, knocking down 5 out of 6 from the charity stripe. So a big first half for the Owls. They lead the Royals here at the break, 37-24. We'll take a break. We'll have more basketball action. Second half comes your way in approximately 9.5 minutes here on NAIA.org. This thing took a beat to something. Well, something fell, maybe not. I don't think so. I swear, I looked down one time and both Mike and Ted were asleep. I swear.
I think that's why they bring that paper to make it look like they're away.
multitasking. They should have bought the first time, or I wouldn't have to ask for a second time.
Did you resell when playoffs came around?
Well, I don't really do the regular season for Mount Vernon. I mean, I resold once the district got over. I mean, the district people are in until they lose. So they're done. They're signed, sealed, and delivered.
You just charge per game? You didn't do Mount Vernon basketball during the regular season?
I did 2 games in the blue and gold and 1 pink and white. That's all.
But then you just get on the train. As long as the train keeps on going, then you charge the number of games. Then he's still. There's 2 games, 1 game, 1 and that's boys is 1.
Oh, yeah.
Girls, 2. Boys, girls.
They get a break and they buy boys and girls both?
Per game. Well, and the other thing is I really don't let them do just boys or just girls. I say you're supporting
that
Mount
was
Vernon.
going to be my next question. Does someone actually only want to, because you do it, part of it you want to be supportive,
Yeah.
but I only want to support the
Exactly.
girls or the boys, You can't let that happen.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. There he was making a sale. Blowing seeds in blood.
Candy made me
Don't
do it.
believe me. There'd
Candy
be some
made-
radio trying to pick them up and they would do the same thing.
But you wouldn't think Branson, Missouri, you'd be selling Mount Vernon. I had to get a kick out of it. This entrepreneurship came through. Well, with
Deontay Moore does not have a foul. 15
okay,
for
does not have a foul. That's where I missed it.
You're really screwing me up there, kid.
Yeah, I wanted to compliment you on that before, and I forgot.
And De Leon, let's see. Yeah, he's got a foul. Good.
I'm sure he's got a foul. I remember that one.
I got 10. I'm all right.
Oh. I stopped at the convenience store and got me some throat lozenges. I'll need them tonight.
You're still dripping because I can hear you suck it back in. A little faster, let's go.
Heat not back there. Jack Fox initiating the conversation. That's great. That tickles me. Whenever she told me that Jack Fox wanted to talk to me, that was the furthest thing from my mind, saying ew.
Okay.
We welcome you back inside the Keeter Athletic Complex, Al Waller Family Court. Mike McClure along with Dave Beckett, the 2012 NAIA Men's Division II National Basketball Tournament second round action. We get ready for second half play with the number 2 seed Oregon Tech Hustle Nows leading the 15th seed Warner University Royals by the score of 37-24. One correction from the first half scoring totals we gave you. David Clark actually with 10 points instead of 11 was credited with 2 threes instead of 3 threes in the first half. The field goal numbers, Oregon Tech shooting lights out, 15 for 28, 54%, 2 for 8 from 3 for 25%, and from the free throw line, 5 out of 6, 83%. for Warner, just 19 attempted shots, 9 for 19, 47%, 3 for 8 from beyond the arc, 38%, and only 3 out of 9 from the foul line, 33%. Rebounding numbers favor Warner, 13-11. The offensive rebounds even at 4 apiece. Turnovers, only 4 committed by Oregon Tech and 12 committed by Warner's. We're underway in the second half. Oregon Tech shooting at basket left in the navy jerseys with the Vegas gold trim. Warner in the white jerseys. They will be shooting at basket right. Oregon Tech, the 13-point lead underway in the second half. Kyle Gomez, the runner, is good.
One other stat that kind of jumps out at me, and that's 7 assists for Oregon Tech. That tells me that they're looking for their teammates and spreading the things around. And the other rebound, which you talked about, was that Oregon Tech only a two rebound deficit, where the other night Warner just absolutely dominated the board. So that's a big stat for Oregon Tech to stay that close. And Malcolm Campbell, in my opinion, is frustrated offensively, rebounding and scoring.
Well, Campbell gives it up here for a three-point try, missed by Kaczynski. Rebound Campbell, 10-foot shot, won't go. Still fighting for the rebound, and it's grabbed by Scotty Riddle. Riddle, down floor to Gomez. The experience of Oregon Tech, 30-5 last year. Here's a deep three by Clark. That one misses. And rebound chased down by David Westbury. Double team on the baseline. It's taken away by Jason Gamble. Here comes Bobby Hunter. Down the lane with the left hand, is fouled and will go to the line for one.
I tell you what, this has been a very physical game both ways. Hunter, this is about the 4th time that he's hit the floor hard. Jumps right back up knowing he's going to get a free throw and made the basket, so he's got 2 of the 3. Now he needs to hit the free throw to make it a 3-point play.
Second foul on David Westbury. Bobby Hunter, 19 points on a 20-point-per-game average. We still have 18 minutes to play.
And just a freshman. He is a fun guy to watch.
Gets the free throw to match his per-game average at just 10 points in the win over Lords, Ohio. 18-point lead, biggest of the day for Oregon Tech. We've played 2 minutes in the second half. Another takeaway, Riddle with the steal.
Kind of a nonchalant pass, and the Oregon Tech getting their hand on the ball, getting in the passing lane, and it comes to a teammate, and Hunter with the basketball.
Warner not focused offensively coming out of the locker room. Baseline drive by Oregon Tech, and out of bounds to Warner. Brandon Poore back in, a 6'1" freshman, replacing David Westbury.
I believe I see Ray Victor sitting over there on the bench of Warner, but he's not played in the ball game. Of course, prior to the halftime, he hit the floor hard and was taken into the training room, but hopefully he'll be able to play this second half.
Right side Poore, low post St. Fort. Poore will try the three. That's an air ball. Out of bounds to Oregon Tech. Oregon Tech featured in an article in the New York Times recently. And
3 pages worth,
Yeah.
in fact. It wasn't just a 1-page thing or a little picture with a caption.
of course, most of that attention on head coach Danny Miles trying to draw the foul. Nothing called there for Kyle Gomez. Ball goes out to Warner.
But it's a pretty good article, told about the history of the school and the facilities or lack thereof, whichever way you want to look at it. But they're very satisfied with what they got. Ask Danny Miles if he's satisfied. Only been there 41 years.
In the low post, St. Fort. 3-point try, missed by Dante Moore. Fighting for the rebound, Campbell muscling inside, loses the basketball. Gomez comes out of there with the rock.
Second time that Campbell has brought the ball down to gather himself, and the hustling Owls come away with it, steal it when the big man puts it on the floor.
16:30 to play. 42-24, still an 18-point lead for the Owls. Down the lane, Gomez kicks it right side. Three-point try won't go for Riddle. Offensive rebound. Oh, Gamlin got hit in the head as he is fouled.
That's going to go against Campbell. Only his first foul. But Gamlin got a hard foul as he was battling for the offensive board, which he got, and then started to put it back up.
People just find me everywhere. This is great. At the line for Oregon Tech.
That's about like random phone calls wanting to give you money.
Almost. Here's Gamblin. Yeah. Gamblin's first good. He's got 3. 43-24. 16-18 to play, and again, a line change here for Warner. A frustrating game for Coach Sean Hanrahan.
And, you know, pulling out all stops because you don't have much time left in your season, just 16-18, in fact, to go in the second half. And so Coach Hanrahan's thinking, well, what's it going to hurt? At least try to find some kind of semblance of continuity and get a run going here.
The lead is 20 for the Hustlin' Owls. We've played almost 4 minutes in the second half. Behind the back dribble, Westbury. Back out on top to Kaczynski. Fires the 3 off the front of the rim. Look out for the rebound. Saved by the Royals. They'll try the three-pointer out of the baseline. That won't go for Westbury, and rebound underneath by Bryant Sentman.
I'll tell you what, it's very physical out there, mostly on the part of Warner. But you got to give Oregon Tech credit. They're not backing down whatsoever. They're just going in there tooth and toenail, fighting it back and forth.
Watch Hunter without the basketball.
Oh, yeah,
this is fun. He's got it now. Shot clock at 14. Gives it up to Gomez. Three-point try, won't go. Nice rebound by Ian Wilhelm as he went up and got it. Wilhelm then stripped by Kyle Gomez. Here's Bobby Hunter for the layup.
Out there all by himself, Bobby Hunter, after the steal at mid-floor, and 22 points now for Bobby Hunter.
Timeout on the floor, 15-14 to play. Oregon Tech 46. Warner University 24. After the timeout was taken, we mentioned about the new floor put in at Danny Miles Court. The old floor, they sold off pieces of it literally to help raise money for their trip to Branson. They had a scrimmage last weekend, raised $13,000 to help with the travel expenses. An additional $2,000 was raised by selling the pieces of the Hustlin' Owls' former home floor. And again, these aren't big donations, you know, pieces of the court that sold for $20, $40. There were bigger pieces that were framed and were sold for more, but just, you know, a lot of small donations from $25 to $50. It's not big corporations out there in Klamath Falls. It's just their fans.
And reading the New York Times article, one of the most intriguing things was whenever Danny Miles was early into his career, he was also baseball coach, and the administration pulled in and fired all the coaches at one time, including himself, then turned around after that and rehired him and the baseball coach back. But that got rid of his tenure, so therefore the school was trying to save money, but Danny Miles still stayed with them, stayed with the administration, and now then look how he's rewarded that support.
Give and go to K.O. Taylor for the short shot. His first 2 points of the game, 46-26. Here's Taylor off the front of the rim. Rebound by Kaczynski.
Yeah, that New York Times article, if you got time to read it, if you can find a copy of it, it's got some little nuggets in there that are just very unique to Danny Miles and Oregon Tech for that matter.
Foul down on the low post as the team's fighting for possession of the basketball. David Westbury with his third. Danny Miles with letters in his house, framed letters from Mike Krzyzewski, Dean Smith, Bobby Knight, 2 presidents, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush. I know he helped out with one of the, I think it was a 19 and under USA team. Got a picture with him, Jim Boeheim, Roy Williams.
One other thing that was kind of humorous in that article, after his 900th win, the university gave him his own parking spot. Well, it said that Danny Miles, the first week, every day, whenever he finished the day, which would be 9 o'clock at night, he'd go out there to get his car, and it wouldn't be parked in his parking spot, and he'd think, well, I just didn't park there. Well, come to find out, his assistants were going out there and moving it every day. Took him a week to figure out somebody's moving it. He didn't think a thing in the world about it, but, you know, what a human interest story that is. It's just filled full of stories like that.
Missed jumper, but knocked out of bounds off the Royals, so Oregon Tech to inbound underneath their own goal. Up by 20, 14 minutes to play. This has been pretty much all Oregon Tech today. Warner scored the first basket, and that has been their only lead. Kyle Gomez, 4 points so far in the game, to the free throw line. Bounces it to Kiley. Cut off on the baseline by Taylor. Here's a straight on three for Gomez. Bounces out. Good rebound by Brian DeLeon. Quickly down court, Westbury. Runner is good.
And, of course, Danny Miles got some of his starters on the bench over there because, again, it's a marathon. It's only the second game of 5 you need to win the national tournament, so you need to rest some legs whenever you can.
Corpening missed. Rebound to Warner. Right wing, Campbell. Westbury kicks it out to Kaczynski for the three. His second triple. He's in double figures with 11. Matches his total from yesterday when he scored 11 in the win against Indiana East. At the other end, the Owls, Kyle Gomez spots up from three, is fouled as Mark St. Fort just ran over Kyle Gomez during the three-point shot.
He was coming out to contest the shot, but he didn't just contest it, he knocked him over, like you said. Of course, 3 points, or the three-pointer missed, but going to step to the line to shoot 3 free throws is Kyle Gomez.
Subs holding at the table, 3 for the Owls, 2 for the Royals. Wipe the perspiration up. 3 free throws coming up for Kyle Gomez, a 74% foul shooter. Missing the first.
.74% free throw shooter is Kyle Gomez. He hits the second of 3.
Malcolm Campbell back in for Warner. Bobby Hunter back in for the Owls. Josh Johnson back in as well. See Brandon Poore in for the Royals. Gomez at the line for one more. His team leading by 16, 47-31, 12:45 to go. Only got 1 out of 3, the rebound to Mark St. Fort. With the dribble, Westbury. St. Fort, here's Campbell for the three. Big man with a nice touch. Just his second 3 of the year.
It looked pretty smooth, really. Wasn't much effort out there to get it from 19.9 inches and just swept through the net for a three-point
Dribble drive,
shot.
Gomez, blocking foul on Brandon Poore, his first. Back in for the hustle now, Scotty Riddle and Alex Zerbach. Josh Johnson to trigger it in to David Clark. Scotty Riddle to Bobby Hunter. Hunter with 22 points, 3 ball up. This time won't go for Clark. Hunter chasing down the rebound. It was off the hands of Brandon Poore, and a new shot clock for the Owls.
It wasn't his rebound, Bobby Hunter's, but he just went over there and stripped the ball away from the Royals and took it and started dribbling with it and reset the offense.
Clark to Riddle. 11:38 to go. 47-34, Oregon Tech with the lead over Warner. Riddle cut off on the baseline by Westbury. Leans in, puts it up, no good. Again, long rebound out to Bobby Hunter. Shot clock at 4. It didn't hit the rim. And that shot not released in time by Bobby Hunter. It's a shot clock violation, and the basketball back over to the Royals.
Hit the backboard, but you got to draw iron to reset the clock, the shot clock that is, and that one did not. It hit there in the square, but didn't even graze the rim, and that's why the shot clock continued to run.
Westbury inside and out of bounds to Oregon Tech.
And the Royals now, Mike, are trying to go with the big. They got 6'9" and 6'10" both in there, and see if that can create something. If nothing else, just try to slow down this hustling Owl attack.
Bobby Hunter, his team up by 13, nearing the halfway point of the second half rather. Deep three won't go for Riddle, and then bounces over the backboard, hits the support system, and out of bounds to Warner.
Surprise, surprise. As
Right
the
after you
Royals
left this morning, meant to tell you that earlier. Here's a leaner, won't go for Westbury. Out of bounds, and referee Ronnie Watson says it will be Oregon Tech ball, with Bryce Kaczynski back in for Warner.
Also coming in for Warner will be Deontay Moore. A little bit of pressure now, about three-quarter court, but no problem with it when you got Bobby Hunter out there to bring it up.
4 times this year, Warner went over the century mark in points. Oh, look out again. Bobby Hunter hits the floor hard as he is not afraid to draw contact, taking it inside.
Well, I would think his hips and his kidneys and his backside all need padding because whenever he goes in there, he goes full speed, and then whenever he gets knocked off a kelter, he lands and lands hard.
Can you imagine scoring 111 points in a game and not winning? They being Warner University, hosted Ave Maria from Florida January 17th and lost 119-111.
That's
the scorebook operator, this clock operator, is still recovering.
And it's still smoking out there, the clock, in fact.
Hunter gets them both. He has 24. Yeah, in games this year, they scored 133, 115, 111, and 113. Different contest. The 113 was the opening game of the year, a win over Trinity College, 113-68. Ball out of bounds. It will still be Warner ball. So 133, the most points they've scored. Fewest points they scored, ironically, was the game before they scored the 133. They lost to Jamestown, North Dakota, 60-56 back on December 19th. The drive for Campbell, it won't spin in, or for St. Fort rather, it won't spin in, but he is fouled.
Zerbach will be whistled for his second foul for the Owls. Step to the line to shoot 2 shots. St. Fort.
First time they've gone to the line here in the second half. Just 3 for 9 from the stripe in the first 20 minutes. 67% free throw shooter, missing the first of 2. Brian DeLeon. On the free throw lane right now for Warner, with subs coming in for Oregon Tech. We see Jordan Kiley back out on the floor, 6'2" junior. Kyle Gomez in as well. Bobby Hunter staying in. St. Fort missing the second offensive rebound. There's Campbell with the bank shot. That's what he did so well the other day. 29 points, 11 rebounds, 12 for 16 from the field.
As Campbell cleaned up virtually every shot last time that they needed the other day whenever they played in the first round, but today it's not been the case thus far. Campbell does have 8 points, but that's far from away 26 points the way he had it the other day.
Oregon Tech also 4 times this year scoring over 100 points in a game, including a high of 124 against Johnson and Wales. Spin move down the lane and knocked out of bounds. A culinary school at Johnson and Wales, I hear.
Johnson and Wales in Colorado
Yes.
does have the culinary school, so maybe they were thinking about what they were going to eat instead of
I
playing
don't know.
basketball.
I don't know. Three-pointer won't go. Offensive rebound. Look at Oregon Tech just get after the basketball.
Just out hustle. I mean, granted, they're the hustling Owls, so it
They
shouldn't
are.
surprise you, but they're just simply out hustling the Royals to every loose ball.
Here's a timeout by Danny Miles. Good timeout. His team not in sync right now. They're leading by 13 with 9:01 to go, but not the consistency we saw in the first half out of the play of the number 2 seed.
And you see that a lot whenever you get out to a quick start in the first half and everything's going right. You go in there, you sit down at halftime, and, you know, the coach says, well, you know, we're going to have to do this. Well, as a player, you know that you just played about as well as you can play in the first half. Coming out, you get a little bit of complacent, and you come out a little bit lethargic, and, you know, and the opposition senses that, and it's hard to get refocused and get that rhythm going again like you had in the first half.
It was a 13-point lead at halftime, 37-24. It is still a 13-point lead at 49-36. Both teams 12 points apiece through the first 11 minutes of the second half. St. Francis, Indiana gets the winner of this game tomorrow in the quarterfinals at 3 o'clock. St. Francis defeating the 7th seed Bellevue, Nebraska, 61-58. The 2 morning games today saw Dort, Iowa winning over Warner Pacific, 77-40. Dort, the 4th seed, plays 5th seed McPherson tomorrow at 1. McPherson, Kansas, defeating number 12 St. Thomas out of Florida, 86-74. So our quarterfinal field will be halfway completed after the conclusion of this game. Semifinals Monday 6 and 8, championship game Tuesday at 6. Here's Bobby Hunter between the leg dribble, not once but twice, 3 times, 3-point shot, no good. Rebound pulled away by Malcolm Campbell. 8:40 to play. And time for Warner if they want to get back in this game to start making some noise. Deep 3, Kaczynski. St. Fort tips the long rebound out, but look at this. Gomez with a dish and the layup. Good for Hunter. Oh, my.
Just flung it up in the air, and it goes in the hands of the Owls, and then Hunter able to get his 26th point to go at the other end.
Layup inside, good for Kaczynski. He has 13. So again, back to a 13-point lead. Every time it looks like Warner's going to get blown out, they manage to get a big basket, keep it close, still 8 minutes to go. This game not over. Down low, Hunter, reverse layup, good. He's got a big smile on his face, and why not?
Goes up between the 6'7" and the 6'10" players against the Royals, but he's able to use his quickness, get up off the floor before they even realize he's on his way.
Right wing, Campbell, guarded by Gamblin. And the shot from the right wing, good for Malcolm Campbell. He's in double figures with 10. 53-40, hustling Owls. We keep talking about that 13-point lead. Again, that's where it's at with 7:15 to go. Gomez, closely guarded by Wilhelm. A couple of all-conference selections. Gomez a first-team pick, Wilhelm a second-team pick. Here's Hunter, whistle, travel.
A little bit too anxious that time because on the switch on the screen out here, Campbell come out and was guarding Hunter at the three-point line. So Hunter just did the crossover, went inside, and a little bit anxious and took the extra step.
David Westbury, K.O. Taylor back in for Warner. David Clark, Bryant Sentman back in for Oregon Tech as we have a timeout on the floor with 6:59 to play. Oregon Tech leading Warner University 53-40 here in the Show Me State.
And the Royals with still 7 minutes to go, one tick away from 7 minutes to go and only down 13. And I've said it in other broadcasts in this tournament and other basketball games since the inception of the three-point line, 13 points can be made up in a hurry if you don't take care of business on your own offensive end. So the Owls got to pay attention, stay focused, and run their offense and score whenever they have the chance, because the Royals didn't get here by happenstance.
No.
They got here because they're a pretty good team, and you give a good team a chance, they can come back from a 13-point deficit.
Their first appearance in the national tournament since 2003 when they made it all the way to the semifinals. Royal ball, down 13, under 7 to go. Taylor on the give and go. Ball fake, Campbell shoots the three, missed it, rebounded by Kyle Gomez. Gomez almost had it poked away, kind of altered his shot a little bit as he lost control of the basketball, missed it, Warner with the rebound. Brandon Poore, as it kicked out of bounds, it'll still be Warner basketball. Warner advancing to the second round game with a win on Thursday over Indiana East, 84-68. Oregon Tech yesterday defeating Lords from Ohio, 58-49. Pull-up jumper, Wilhelm left it short. It was rebounded by an Oregon Tech player, but David Clark was laying out of bounds when he caught the ball.
David Clark had a hand on the ball. Only thing was he was prone across the baseline, and of course that constitutes out of bounds, and it will be Royal basketball underneath their own basket.
Kaczynski in, St. Ford in for the Royals. Off the inbounds, the lob to Campbell. And he leaves his jumper short. Kyle Gomez with the rebound.
Looked like a stud shot in there, as that was right there, a good shot, but just simply falling away and didn't get it to the basket.
Here will be a foul on Ian Wilhelm, his fourth. So he becomes the first player to pick up 4 fouls. 7th team foul. Oregon Tech into the 1-and-1 here in the last 6:05. Kyle Gomez, 74% foul shooter, had 10 points in their win yesterday. He averages 14, gets the first free throw to go to give him 6.
That extends the lead, and that's all that's important as far as the Owls are concerned. Whether it comes on free throws or a field goal or a dunk, it's still 2 points. And that's what they need, is points.
The crowd would mind a dunk or two here in the last 6 minutes. Here's a straight-on 3 for Kaczynski. That will be a start. He has 16 on a 15-point per game average. Down to 12. 55-43, 5:40 to go. Oh, that's a reach in on Campbell. His first. Boy, he is a specimen at 6'10".
He's pretty solid looking out there, and runs very athletic, you know, for his size, because he goes every bit of 270, but whenever you're 6'10", that can be distributed pretty evenly.
Free throw good by Gamlin. 85% foul shooter, gets the first. And if the Owls can continue to make their free throws, it will be tough for the Royals to catch up.
And the Royals can't afford to allow the Owls to trade baskets with them. They've got to have some stops to the Royals and then score at the other end.
5.5 to play. Owls by 14. Royals with the ball in front court. Kaczynski guarded by Bobby Hunter. Bounce pass to Campbell. Trying to lean in on Gamblin. Missing the shot on the baseline. And the weak side rebound to Bryant Sentman. Sentman yet to score today on an 8-point per game average. Had 6 in their victory over Lords. Bobby Hunter has scored quite a bit, 28 today.
Using some clock now, not going to really look till they see
wide
Hunter
open,
wide open.
backdoor Hunter. Great assist from Bryant Sentman, who has a big smile on his face, and that's 30 for Hunter. Timeout, Warner. I mean, a defensive breakdown by Warner University that time. Hunter almost could have been called for a 3-second violation. He was open for that long underneath the basket before Sentman spied him with the perfect pass. And Bobby Hunter with 30 of his team's 59 points with 4:47 to play. A 16-point lead for the Hustlin' Owls, who look to advance to the quarterfinals tomorrow at 3 p.m. It would be their 31st win of the year. as they come in at 30-4. They've won 4 in a row, 9 of their last 10.
And on that play, 9 players were on front of the free throw line. The only one underneath was Bobby Hunter, and he yelled so loud, we've got headsets on, and we could hear him holler, hey, give me the ball. But they found him, and Hunter was able to find the basket to the tune of 30 points here with 4:47 to go.
Field goal numbers favor Oregon Tech. They're shooting 45%, 21 for 47. Warner, 41%, 17 for 42. The three-point numbers actually favor Warner. They are 6 for 18, 33%. Oregon Tech just 2 for 15 from beyond the arc, 13%. But then the advantage comes back to the Hustlin' Owls on the free throw line, where they are 15 for 18, 83%. Warner, meanwhile, 3 out of 11, 27%. And Warner actually with a 4-rebound advantage now, 26-22.
And those 2 that the Owls have made came very early in the game. David Clark hit those 2 in a row, and since then there hadn't been any.
Turnover gives it back to the Owls with just over 4.5 minutes to go. Points in the paint, 32-16 advantage for Oregon Tech. Points off turnovers, 12-2 advantage for Oregon Tech. Neither team has a rebounder with more than 8. Sentman with 7 for Oregon Tech. Campbell with 7 for Warner. 4:20 to go. And again, Oregon Tech beginning to use more of the clock. Bobby Hunter, shot clock at 6. 3-point try, good for David Clark.
All 3 3-pointers made have been by David Clark. This one a big one to extend that lead back to 19.
Down the lane, Westbury for the layup. (62-45), 17-point lead. 20 has been the biggest margin. I mean, literally a 4-corner offense right here for Oregon Tech. Boy, Dean Smith was so good at that in the days before the shot clock. Down the lane, Hunter. Ball fake. Clark spots up from 3, short. Offensive rebound, Hunter. Fresh 35 on the clock. 3:20 to go. Owls by 17, and not looking good right now for Warner.
Going to have to start fouling pretty quick with a 19-point lead or a deficit facing you. If you're the Royals, you're going to have to come out and at least play heads-up man defense, which they finally started doing.
Gomez to Hunter, and fouled by Ian Wilhelm. They let 21 seconds come off that clock, and that's going to be the 5th personal foul on Ian Wilhelm. A 15-point per game scoring average, 10 points in the win yesterday. He sits down today with only 5. 6'3" junior from Orlando. He'll be back next year for his senior year, but Coach Sean Hanrahan will have 30 seconds to bring a sub in.
And he's going to use the 30 seconds, arms folded, going to wait until the official looks at him again and says, time's up, you need to substitute. So in comes his designated sub.
Brandon Poore.
And I tell you, the Oregon Tech has just outplayed Warner today, as Warner not having a very good game, and the Oregon Tech Hustling Owls just doing everything that they need to do to win the basketball game.
31 now for Hunter as he makes the first of 2 free throws. Now 32. What a show, 64-45.
And Bobby Hunter only having 10 points the other day in the first round. That's just hard to imagine because he's just been everywhere here today.
Westbury as we go under 3 minutes to play. Campbell on the baseline. His 17-footer around and out. Gamblin not able to hang on to the rebound, loses it out of bounds. It will be Warner basketball. Well, we're getting back a little more on schedule. The 4 o'clock game should tip at 4. They build a little time in after the 4th game just in case. Here's a 3-point try. Short for Kaczynski. Oh, look out. Oh, my goodness. The ball grabbed by Gomez.
And his Gomez head grabbed at the same time, but the official right there and kind of pats him on the backside as he runs past him as if to say, I might have missed that one.
Wow. Here's Bobby Hunter. 2:20 to go. 20 seconds on the shot clock. 64-45. Shot clock at 7. Gamblin. Baseline drive and a finger roll. Good for Bryant Sentman. His first basket of the game. At the other end, long-range jumper won't go. Defensive rebound, Oregon Tech, and Coach Danny Miles clearing his bench. He wants a timeout simply for the subs and to allow his starters to be recognized as they get a huge standing ovation from the fans from Klamath Falls, Oregon.
And you got to credit Coach Hanrahan, knowing that big deficit, even fouling is not going to get him any advantage. So the last 2 possessions, he's allowed the Hustling Owls to go ahead and run the clock. I mean, it could have been extended another 10 minutes as far as the length of the basketball game, but Coach Hanrahan knows there's no sense. Let's just let the game clock run out.
Oregon Tech will improve to 31-4. Warner's season will end at 24-11, but a nice year for Coach Hanrahan and the youngsters from Lake Wales, Florida, making the national tournament for their 4th time in school history. Reached the second round in '98, the quarters in 2002, the semis in 2003, and they will drop out after the second round here. Shot clock at 2, the jumper good and a foul. It's been that kind of afternoon for the Owls.
If you're in that direction, it goes in, and it's a 2-pointer instead of a 3.
Corpening with his first basket. (68-45) Owls.
And look at the fouls up there.
I did.
And
free throw good.
The reason I say that, not to point out that I feel like that it was one way or the other, but the reason I say that is that shows you the aggressiveness that, of course, the Royals had to come out and had to foul, where the Oregon Tech was able to move their feet and play good, solid defense and not foul the second half.
De Leon missed. Rebound chased down on the baseline, and David Westbury will hit from baseline left. He has 7. Under a minute to go. 69-47 Oregon Tech. They will play St. Francis, Indiana at 3 o'clock Central Time on Saturday. Corpening. Waits. Had it stripped. Pull-up jumper good on the far side. Fletcher.
Matt Fletcher,
okay.
Number 2, with his first 2. Probably the only 2. I think it's going to end up 69-50. They're just going to hold the ball and then hand it to the official here in the next 15 seconds.
Fletcher got a credit for the 3.
He did get credit for the 3?
Yeah, it's up on the board. That's not going to matter in the big scheme of things. It's a 19-point victory for the 2nd seed Oregon Tech Hustling Owls. A impressive performance at both ends of the floor for Danny Miles as he gets career victory number 940 this afternoon here at College of the Ozarks. Our final, it's the Owls 69, the Royals 50, and we will wrap this one up with our post-game numbers for Oregon Tech as they are now 31-4. Bobby Hunter finishing with 30 points. One of 2 players in double figures, David Clark, finishing with 14. 7 for Kyle Gomez, 6 for Jason Gamblin, 4 for Scotty Riddle, 3 for Fred Corpening, 2 for Alex Zerbach, and 2 for Bryant Sentman. For the Warner University Royals, who finished at 24-11, they had 2 players in double figures, Bryce Kaczynski with